Are we
Yeah,
live?
they had a UI change recently.
They did, and they're
I'm not sure
they're
what to
forcing an
think about
affiliate
it.
link on your stuff now. Okay, we are live. Yay! Although to be fair, I would pay for StreamYard if we needed it because I do like it. Okay, we are live. I can see us talking on YouTube. So, hello everybody. Welcome to the May Stitch and Bitch live show. It feels like we were just here. Like I blinked and it's like 4 weeks later. And I would swear it was still April, but no, May is almost over. So, maybe it's because I've been very busy and doing lots of fun stuff. Time has just gone by so quickly. So hello everybody in the chat. Thank you for being here. We're going to go around and do our quick introductions as if you don't know who we are yet after how many years of doing this. So I will start really quickly, and also while we're introducing ourselves, we can talk about if we're crafting what we are working on or what we plan on working on during the live show. And if anybody else in the chat is working on something while listening to us, do let us know what you're doing, because we are always here for the crafts. So my name is Rachel. This is my channel Colonati, where I used to do lots of booktube stuff, and now I just host this live show 3 times a year. I mainly read science fiction, fantasy, some manga and nonfiction, and talk about them here. And today, my first craft is taking the waistband off of this skirt that I made 2 months ago because I need to pleat it and redo the fit of it. And I've been putting off ripping out all the stitching because I did it by hand. And that's painful to take out. And once I'm done with this, I have my support spindle, and I'll be working on this project that I started when I was on vacation. So reverse sewing, unsewing, is there a term for that?
I mean, frogging?
Like mending.
Not sewing, I don't know.
You're mending and altering.
Right now I'm just ripping out thread.
Oh, that's basically you're just ripping.
Okay, I'm
that
ripping.
Is the term.
I wish it was quite like frogging, but it's not the same. Rip. And then I will be spinning. So onwards, Di.
Yeah, so my name's Diana. You can find my channel at Bookish Di, and I am still working on this. I just finished up the medium wave, so now I'll be doing the small waves, and then I'll be done.
Very cool. It looks great.
Thanks. And I mostly read science fiction, fantasy, although I also dabble in nonfiction and the occasional lit fic.
I mean, you don't just dabble. Like I get like 90%.
Because nonfiction makes my on days or like when my brain is being squirrely, nonfiction is like one of the only things that like makes it shut up.
Same. I'll say that like probably like 50% of all of my non-fiction like reads have been because of recommendations by you.
Also, we are joined by the most handsome young gentleman.
Hello, Luke.
Luke, oh.
So distinguished.
He's very comfy.
All right, Rhea.
Oh, me. Hello, I'm Rhea. I'm in a similar boat as Rachel, as that I might have a channel called The Bookfinch, where I have been making videos, and currently I'm mostly just hosting the Stitch and Bitches 3 times a year. I'm actually thinking of to start doing like possibly some reading live streams outside of these streams, because I have realized that I most likely won't be getting back into edited content. So I might as well just do like some fun streams sometimes.
Are you thinking like reading sprints or just?
Yeah, because I enjoy doing those, and then just like talking about or just like talking in general about books I'm reading, but like or like art streams, stuff like that. Possibly in the future. Yeah, just yappy streams, because like I've realized that I need something to take off the pressure, and setting up cameras and filming and editing, that's so many steps that my brain just shuts off at the first thought. So that's my current sitch. And I'm doing what my mom likes to call quiet resistance. So I'm mending. I have like 3 sets of pants that have worn off. So I'm doing mending. So basically doing the basting stitches, and then afterwards I will go over with machine zigzag. So these pants will be as good as new. Highly recommend. Like trying to what's the word? Expand the lifespan of your clothes by learning how to mend them, because that's how you say fuck you to capitalism.
Yes.
I need to do some mending on some cardigans. But that's going to be a job for later.
Yes.
Like one of them's
Yeah.
an easy one where it's just like I need to re-sew a seam, but others there's like little holes in the knit, and I need to figure
Yeah.
because like I like those sweaters and I don't want to like throw them out, but I don't like know a good way to like tidy mend them.
I've actually my mom showed me a cool method using a crochet hook, where you basically like if you have like this like a rip basically, so you're basically like using a crochet hook and some like yarn to like go over the like the knit. So you're basically cheating the knit texture with crochet essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these are machine knit pieces though, that not hand knit.
Yeah.
So.
I've seen some people like Instagram reels and stuff of people doing really like invisible mending of like of knitwear, which is very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, that was me. And also I read mostly fantasy and manga.
Kelsey?
I'm Kelsey. My channel is The Fancy Hat Lady Reads. I do still occasionally post long form videos there. My most recent one is all about my most recent Murderbot reread. And I read SFF almost exclusively. I do have my skirt sewing project where I'm putting new trim on this skirt. I'm not starting it right away though, because last time I didn't summon my cat because I was worried about her getting interested in the sewing pins. So I thought this time I have to summon Sunshine before I start sewing. So this is what we're doing now. We are doing a summoning with Churu. What flavor do you want?
I love that you ask her.
Does she have a preference?
I don't think so. I think she likes them all. Let's do green. I don't know what green is. Here she is. Let's see. Green is tuna with chicken. You all may move on to other things.
I love Sunshine is just not camera shy. Like we have other cats that run away when the live show starts, but no, Sunshine is so summonable. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Hermes doesn't run away. He assertively walks away in disgust.
He walks into his carrier like,
yes.
Oh yeah, now would be a good time for me to leave.
He's actually like sleeping there right now.
Yeah,
like I can see him.
Doesn't give a shit. She's just chilling, sleeping in her cat tree, unbothered. Luke's having a little snack.
But I have to say that I am a little offended about the carrier thing, because like he has, because like he has like this bed right next to me, and most of the day when I'm at the computer, like for example playing video games, he sleeps there, and then I can absent-mindedly pet him, and he loves it. And then the moment I hop on a call or like have a video chat with someone, he's like, nope,
See,
not
I
today.
feel like that's the opposite of Luke and Leia, where sometimes they'll chill with me while I'm just working, but if I get on a Zoom call, that summons them.
Oh, so wait, they're those kind of cats that when you're on a video call, they're like, no, it's me.
Yes.
I am the star.
Yes,
Let me show you my
and
butt.
I have a Zoom background, like a work Zoom background, that's the Monterey Bay Aquarium jellyfish. And sometimes if Leia like steps in front of my face, it freaks out the system in Zoom that detects like who the person is and what should be the Zoom background. And so like it turns her into jellyfish.
Lovely. When I had Hedda, she liked to do this thing. She also didn't mind being on camera. If I remember, like in our earlier Stitch and Bitches, she would like walk across the desk and not care. Like Hermes is a completely different personality, and Tesla as well. Like you could just pick him up and just show him off, and he would be like, yeah.
That's cute.
Tesla was the best.
Yes, unfortunately, he has crossed the Rainbow Bridge.
Yeah.
So, but he was the best.
I can't remember if Carrie liked to be, because she was here she passed away in 2019, so she was around for like the start of Stitch and Bitch.
Yeah. Let's see. Someone is felting
That's fun.
a mouse.
Oh,
More
like
power to
needle
you.
felting or wet felting?
I'm gonna guess needle felting because of what it is. What to let us know.
Needle felting is great. I've recently started doing when I'm combining or when I'm switching yarn on a knit, I actually needle felt the old yarn into the new yarn so that I don't have to weave in ends of the previous yarns, and it works
smart.
so
That's
well.
so smart. I hate
It
weaving in
works so
Try
well.
that. I know
It's
people have done
great.
that when they cut their knitting, like when they steek, they can felt the edge. So
Yeah.
yes, it is
The,
needle felting.
the only downside is that it works mostly on like 100% wool and like a pretty chunky wool. So if you have like for example sports weight or something that is more processed, then the felting may not hold as well because there's not as much grip. But like for a lot of the yarn that I use DK or worsted weight yarn most of the time. For example, when I'm doing like pullover stuff, so works magnificently. And when I tried it for the first time, I was like, why haven't I thought about it before? I've had this equipment for years.
And Carrie is crocheting a jumper that was supposed to be done for winter.
Oh man, what time is it? Is it in?
It's about
NZ?
winter starting for them. Like it's
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah, but like what time during the day? It must like it must be early. Like it's like 12 hours, 11 hours from Finland.
Yeah,
Or
is
even
it
more.
middle of the night there?
Like time is a construct. Like
6 a.m.
wow, that's
early.
That's so early.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. When do you usually wake up?
I will say Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand was super rough for me. Like my sleep schedule was so messed up. Fortunately, Canada shat the bed and went out in the group stages, so I didn't have to care that much about the knockout rounds.
I've been following.
There was a cat involved. This makes more sense.
I've been following like women's rugby ever since the Olympics, like on and off. And currently, I think the U.S. Women's rugby team is in New Zealand for some. And I noticed on Ilona Mayer's Instagram that they're playing against the like New Zealand women's team, and one of the like star players has like come from retirement. And they made a reel together.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was cute.
And that was so cool.
So speaking of women's sports, so the WNBA season started, and yesterday the New York Liberty and the Indiana Fever were playing, and it's peak like I want both teams to lose because I don't like either of the teams. Unfortunately, one of my favorite players is now with New York, which like pains me because I love Natasha Cloud and I need her to come back to Washington. Anyway, final possession of the game. Liberty up 2. Fever give Caitlin Clark the ball so she can shoot a 3. Natasha Cloud is like doing her signature defense, pokes the ball away. Caitlin Clark flops dramatically, like she's been like mortally wounded. She didn't get the foul call, but it was the funniest thing. It's like, girl, like you're making so much money in endorsements. Please pay for an acting lesson.
Is this what they call filming? Like, is that the term in football when they act like something happened, or like when they like act like they're injured and then stand up and like what's the English term for that? Because
like there's flopping, diving. This was flopping. Like it was. I'll send a clip in our group chat, but it was just very funny because it's like, girl, like if she just poked the ball away, you are fine. Anyway, I don't really like Caitlin Clark that much, and I love Natasha Cloud a lot, so I was very happy with that. With no foul being called.
Oh, diving. Okay.
Yeah.
Diving, that's what it's called?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it when they're pretending though? Like the melodramatic, oh, something happened to me. Like, girl, everyone can tell that you made that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've only heard the Finnish term, which is like called filming. So basically the idea is that you're like you're acting for the cameras and for the audience. So
yeah, there's diving and flopping. I've seen one soccer player when someone was diving, like do the diving hand motion to the ref.
Man. I have one more craft thing I want to show you guys because I think they're really cute, and then we'll talk about what we've been reading. But so last weekend I was doing I took my spinning wheel to the kids center and was doing my spinning demonstration, and I realized that weekend that I have a lot of yarn, and I'm now like making yarn just to have something quick to make. That I don't have to concentrate
you have a lot of yarn,
just so I don't have to concentrate on it, you know, because I'm gonna be doing this more, so I have to have like a project ongoing that I can like take and work on it for 3 hours, but I can start and stop with that. I have to talk to people, and sometimes they're small children, and it's like, anyway, I was like, what am I gonna do with all this yarn? Because I've got a problem. Like, I have too much yarn, but my other problem is that I'm obsessed with crocheting octopuses. So I decided these two things should cancel each other out, and I'm just going to make octopuses. So I have made 3 of them in the last 7 days. So I thought I would show them to you. This is my first one, which I'm very proud of. This one came out very well.
That's so cute.
That's so cute.
So I don't know. These are all probably going to be given away. I may have sort of promised my coworkers that they would be able to have some of my stuff, but we'll see. I might have to keep at least one for myself. This is number 2, which I really like the body on this one.
Yeah.
I'm following a pattern that has a lot of different options, so I thought I would just try the body ones, but I like the colors on this one.
I really like them.
So
Like if you run out of like color ideas, you can always start doing like different pride flag colorways or something.
at some point I will probably put pictures in the group chat and be like, I have this yarn. What do you think it should be? Like, should it be an octopus? Should it be a monster? Should it be a snail? You tell me.
Oh, snails are so great though.
I'm working on a giant snail right now. It is making my mind bend. We'll see if it turns out. It's much bigger than I thought it was going to be. And this is the third one, which I also really like, but I put the wrong size eyes in it, and I don't like how it looks. So I may need to do something about that. I can't deconstruct it at this point. So, but they're cool. They're really cool.
I like the colors of that one the best.
This one?
Yeah, those are my colors.
Do you want an octopus?
I don't know what I would do with it. Would I put it on a hat?
I was just about
Oh
to
my
say,
god, that would be
every
so
time
cool.
every time I make an octopus and I give it to somebody, you know the first thing they do with it?
Put it on their head.
Put
Yes,
it on their head.
obviously.
Yes, obviously, that's the
What
first
is
thing.
the correct thing to do with an octopus?
Yeah, they fit so well. So I'm just saying, if
I
you-
mean, Kelsey, you could, if you have a wide-brimmed hat, then Rachel could make an octopus with slightly longer tentacles, so it could like do like a curtain, and then you can just hat pin it on a hat, and it would
that's the
be
thing I wanted
epic.
to do is I really need to make a version with longer tentacles. I've just been doing
And
it
then
for
put
fun.
some pearls there,
Yeah.
so that it's all aquatic.
So there's also an option to do with the suckers as beads, like pony beads, which I would like to try. So, but I like doing the crochet baubles. So, if you feel like you need an octopus hat, let me know. I
Okay.
can provide an octopus. So, I love making them. I pretty much have this particular pattern memorized at this point. So, the pattern is the medium realistic octopus by Crafty Intentions. The designer is Megan Lapp. She is on Ravelry, and I think she's got an Etsy shop as well. She has fantastic patterns. Her favorite animal is the octopus. So she's got like 3 different octopus patterns, including the large realistic one that I've made twice.
Wait, medium octopus, does that mean that that's an implication that there's a large pattern and a small pattern?
Hang on one second. Talk amongst
You have a large?
Larger octopus.
See, this is
Amazing.
I want to learn to crochet so I can make an octopus or octopi.
I like Rachel shared the dinosaur patterns, and the granny square dinosaurs, and I want to make one. I specifically want to make the nut triceratops because I got one. So
this is the large.
Oh my god.
huge.
So this is the medium. This is the large.
That's like an extra large compared to the medium. Like Kelsey, you need a large one for your hat.
Don't know. It's very heavy, but yeah, you can.
I feel like I would want to put it on a witch hat shaped hat and have like the tentacles wrapping around.
Yeah. That sounds so cool. Ow, ow, ow. Why am I stabbing myself?
So are you a purple person?
Yes.
I'm thinking through what I have. Anyway. So yeah, that's my little show and tell. I love my octopuses. There will be more of them in my future, but I got to get this snail done first, and then we'll see.
So it's octopuses and not octopi. That always confuses me.
So the actual plural is octopuses. Octopi is it is a false plural from people who think that should be what it is.
Okay.
I don't know if it's the people who are obsessed with turning everything into Latin or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like
think
octopi just sounds better than
Yeah.
I just like
octopuses.
octopi because it has pie in it.
I think if it were Latin, it probably would be octopi, but it's not actually Latin. It's from Greek.
I mean,
Yes,
So,
it is. I think it is
that's
originally Greek.
why it's not.
I mean, now we can get into one of my pet peeves, which is the word polyamory, which includes both a Greek and a Latin word in it. And it will forever vex me. Because it should either be polyphilia or it should be what's the love in Latin or like multiple in Latin. But like basically that just gives, like, every time I hear it, I'm like, this word was made up by someone who did not think it through.
So yes, octopus comes from the Greek. Octopuses is the English plural, and octopi is the incorrect plural when people think it comes from Latin. And I'm taking this just from the Wikipedia page. Anyway. All right, show and tell is over. Who wants to start us out by talking about what you are reading, what you have read?
I have a very short list,
Me
so
too.
I
You
could
wanna
start.
Okay.
So since last time, I have read the latest volume of Sign of Affection, which was volume 10 or 11, if I remember correctly. The one before the one that's gonna be published like in the next month or so. My previous qualms still stand. Like I made like a long ass rant in Storygraph when I wrote my review. Because, like, for example, there is a scene in the volume where the character where the main couple comes up with their like own sign that they can use, and I'm like, you would think that the person who actively uses sign language as their first language would have the key role in coming up with the sign. But no, it is the hearing like love interest who is just learning sign that basically is like, okay, this is gonna be our sign and we're gonna use it. And Yuki is like, oh, that's cute, let's do that. And I'm like, this was the moment where you could have shown her like have some agency and actually like contribute and not be a passive actor in her own life, and you just choose to be like, I don't know if it's because like obviously the authors are so Sue Morishita, the author, is actually like a duo of like an artist and writer duo, and because both of them are like hearing, like I feel like sometimes it is quite clear that they are prioritizing telling the story, even though Yuki is the main protagonist and main POV character, but it seems sometimes that they are prioritizing Itsuomi as kind of the active participant in the narrative, and I can't help but wonder if that is because he is the hearing character, so therefore he is more relatable and accessible as a storytelling vehicle for these hearing authors.
I'm not sure that I would peg it immediately as because he's the hearing character. I think he's just the one that they find more interesting. I think it's kind of weird that they set up the main character and then are not treating her as such. Like she's
so like, and it's
passive
unfortunate
was
because
interesting. Yeah, it's almost
so
like
unfortunate.
Their relationship is more about finding out about him than about exploring her life.
There's still the whole mystery of like, what is he gonna do when he graduates? And I'm like there is nothing like we already know that he's gonna probably go into some like teaching position somewhere, and it is implied that it's most likely to like a conflict zone or some like, you know, global south situation. So I'm like, unless he's going to actively go to a country that is like oppressing an indigenous population, I don't think the mystery will be that shocking. What they're setting up, I just feel like the payoff is not gonna be that great.
I mean, if what they're setting up is just a question of will these two stay together because he's going to go off somewhere else and have a job internationally, and she may not follow him or not. Like, I don't think that's very interesting.
Yeah, me too. Like, I don't think that is an interesting storyline, and it once again puts the onus of Yuki being the passive person who is waiting for him while he goes on an adventure, and like it's just. And hear me out. I actually quite like this series. Like, I enjoy the art. I enjoy the series, and that is why it vexes me even more when I see so many opportunities for Yuki's character, like where she could go, that are like outside. Like for example, I dislike the fact that Yuki, because her childhood friend has a crush on her, I would want that Yuki is the one who confronts that and talks it out and actually like handles that situation. And currently it is basically that her boyfriend goes on her behalf to do all of that. So like all of the stuff that should be Yuki's thing that Yuki does as her own person, her boyfriend goes and does it for her. And I'm like, I'm not about this life. Anyway, the other thing, because I have not been reading that much, I have been playing games. The other thing that I have been reading, I'm basically one chapter and then I'm finished, is the 100 Years War on Palestine, A History of Settler Colonialism and Resistance from 1917 to 2017 by Rashid Khalidi. And I have been listening to this on audio, and it has been, well, a lot of it I have already like known, but like specifically the stuff that I did not know that much was the British colonial period, like basically where the book starts. It starts from the British colonial period of like when the Ottoman Empire basically collapses, and then the British take over Palestine. So basically everything that happens before the Nakba of 1948, I did not really know that much about. So it's been really interesting to get some context on that. But let's just put it this way. I have basically for the last 2 years been kind of like in this subject quite actively. So in that sense, this book was more like a refresher, or has been more of a refresher rather than new information. But I would still really recommend it. It is very accessible primer for Palestinian history. So if you are like not aware of the current situation there, this is a very good like primer for like all of the things that have led up to what is currently happening there.
Yeah. I read that in fall 2023, and I agree. It's a good starting point.
Yeah. And that's basically all she wrote, or all they wrote.
I can go next because I also have a very short list. I have not been reading, even though I've been to a lot of bookstores. I was on vacation and I got so many books at 2 different bookstores. It just, I did read What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, which is one of the Hugo-nominated novellas. It's the last one I needed to read because I DNF'd the other one. And this is the sequel to What Moves the Dead. And I don't know who else has read this one. These novellas are not like my favorite things ever by T. Kingfisher, but I do like them. I thought that What Feasts at Night was not bad, but just kind of, I'm going to go with forgettable.
So that's the one that So that's the one
I-
that's like an original story, right? And not because the
Yeah.
first one was the House of Usher retelling,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's how I felt. I'm probably gonna rank it last, actually, on the novellas.
I finally read What Moves the Dead so that I can read that one, and you're not making me enthused about reading it.
So I like them while I'm reading them. Like this one was my plane read, and if I'm reading while traveling, I need something that will actually hold my interest because it's very easy to distract me. So this was really good plane reading. I was into it. It just doesn't have that like sticky quality that a really good story has. I like the writing. I like the main character. I thought the setting was interesting. There's some of, that humor I really like from Ursula Vernon. And there's just something about the story. I felt like the story beats just weren't strong enough. Maybe I just knew what was going to happen. Even though it wasn't a retelling, I just knew it was going to happen. It was more obvious to me than it was to the characters, clearly. Oh, also, apparently I got stickers when I was out and about. So, here's Buttercup, a silky chicken. And this one doesn't have a name, but it's a black silky. Anyway, I was at an outfitter's place, and they had their own custom stickers based on their actual chickens. So anyway, they're cute. So that's What Feasts at Night. I think the third one's already been released. Or been announced. It's coming out later this year. I will get it. I also really like the covers of these.
The covers are so
They're
good.
Amazing.
The cover was the best part.
Like the first cover, like I actually was thinking because I'm like going for a consultation at some point for a new tattoo, and I was thinking that I want something that is inspired, not a full copy, but something that is inspired by specifically the first cover. But I want the it to be a bird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm basically thinking of doing like this tattoo. That's the finch, and doing like on this side the decomposed version of it.
Mm-hmm. Could be, yeah. The jacket art is by Christina Mrozik, who I assume did the first one as well, since they're the same style. So, but yeah, there's something about these covers that I think they really, really suit the vibes of the stories. I think like the cover of What Moves the Dead is one of, like, if I had to pick an example of a cover that just really tells you how the book feels, like that would be like my first pick. So
yeah, it has the mushrooms and stuff.
I
also like, one of my favorite things is specifically when the same artist is called on to like do the whole series, especially on a long-standing series, because because it doesn't always happen, but like when it does, it's like, because they set the tone. Like I think like Nivo's like novella series, it's like Alyssa Weiner's like sets the tone for what that is.
Yeah, for sure.
And same here.
Yes. I also read My Favorite Thing is Monsters, Book 2 by Emile Ferris, which is one of the graphic story nominees Hugo Awards this year. And it's another one that like I liked What Feasts at Night, but I just didn't really like My Favorite Thing is Monsters Volume 2. This is not, and to be fair, this is not a graphic novel series that I would have ever picked up on my own. Like the premise of it is not really my thing. I read the first volume because it was a BookTube SFF Award nominee in a year that I was judging, I think.
That was
how many years ago was that?
Like 2017?
2017, 2018.
That was the first, because that was the first year I was on BookTube, and I found out about BookTube SFF, and I remember because not 5th season, but the second book I think,
Obelisk
was
Gate?
nominated
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was really surprised that the second volume is basically described as the conclusion. Like, this is a duology. Number one, we had to wait like 8 years for it to be published, because I think the first volume was 2016 and this one was 2024. There was a lot of stuff going on that caused that, I think. But it doesn't really go anywhere, and it's very rushed at the end. I'm having a hard time like really describing what the plot of this thing is. Like, a young girl in Chicago who is obsessed with monsters and draws herself as a monster, basically. Her mother has died. Her older brother is taking care of her. He might be like a gangster, but he's also an artist. And then her neighbor, a woman who like survived concentration camps in World War II, is murdered, and possibly this girl's brother did it, but she's trying to investigate it. So I think like the plot of this is investigating the murder of Anka and like what her story is, which is very harrowing. There's bits in volume 2 where it gets into this woman speaking, like telling her story through recordings that the main character is listening to after she's died. And like, yeah, this story goes to some really dark places through the eyes of a child who I don't think has the maturity to really realize how bad this stuff is. And like that could be a very rewarding read. Like, there's a lot of layers here, but then it just ends. There are these couple of main questions throughout these 2 volumes of very hefty graphic novels, and nothing is really answered. And the final bit is like super rushed. Okay, I guess we're skipping town now. Goodbye. What? It does have very interesting artwork, though. For anybody who's like looked inside it or read it or whatever, just the physical presentation of this graphic novel series is really cool and really different. But
everything is hand drawn and hand colored with like, I think, colored pencil and pastels.
And I think a lot of it is done in like ballpoint pen as well.
Yeah.
It's got that look, and it's on like lined note paper as well, because it's the notebook of the main character. But I thought it's kind of interesting, kind of bad for storytelling, that there are so many pages in this huge volume that are just devoted to reproductions of like horror magazine covers and stuff. Like, we've got a lot of these full page drawings of other people's artwork, because that's what the main character is interested in. And I was like, why do we have so many of these and not more pages devoted to like the plot?
You're not making me very enthused to pick it up. I have the first
me
volume
neither.
out from the
I will,
library
but
right now. So
I mean, I will read it, but
I think
to be fair, I did not really enjoy the first one either.
Yeah. And like, I'm also not the target audience of this. I would be interested in somebody's opinion who like really is into this, like the art style, the schlocky horror film, the monster thing. Like, that's your vibe. Like, what did you think of this? But it is not pulling off the plot in a way that would do justice to the artwork, I think. And the fact that this might be the last volume, that there maybe won't be a third one, or if there is, it might be another 8 years to get to it. It's like, is it really worth it? I don't know.
Before you continue, I have finished the first part of Mending.
Hey.
And it's actually looking pretty cool. So I'm gonna zigzag over that line so that it like
Nice.
fuses into the fabric. So
Cool. So that was My Favorite Thing is Monsters Volume 2, and the I read a book about a photographer who did a lot of work in North Carolina. We're not going to talk about that. That was a random thing I got from my brother. But the other thing that my brother gave me when I was on vacation, he really likes. Is this upside down? There we go. The series Planets by Makoto Yukimura. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I was the one who bought this series for him as like a Christmas gift or not. Anyway, he was done with it and he really liked it, so he gave the 2 volumes to me, and I'm really liking this. Yeah, so I read volume 1 and I am about to start volume 2, and apparently there's an anime as well, which I can also get from my brother. So
also, Makoto Yukimura is the author of Vinland Saga.
yes,
as well.
Yes.
Which is very
I'm
good.
thinking I might need to try reading that, because I know we tried starting watching it on Netflix, and
the
was
manga
good.
is like, I will say that I like the anime in terms of like as an adaptation,
Mhm.
but the manga is just so purposeful in its like presentation
Hmm.
and the way the panels are laid out. And even though I like the anime is like, it doesn't really hold up to the same level of gravitas, especially because it chooses a very light color palette.
Yeah.
And the manga is like so contrasted, like has stark contrasts and like uses a lot of like different inking techniques and stuff to really hone in on texture. So the manga would be my like go-to format for that series, even though I enjoy both.
Do you know if it's available as like omnibuses yet, or is it just like individual games?
Oh, I'll show you.
Oh, of course you know.
So it's available in these hardcovers, which I think have like 2 volumes each, 2 or 3 volumes.
Because I would have to get it from the library at this point, and
it's like,
oh, it's got color in it too.
Yeah, the like first spread is always colored, and it's really good. They have done this weird. Let me just show you something that is not like super. Like when we talk about texture, like you have these group scenes.
Mhm.
This is like an advancing force of like Vikings, and you have this like the way it's cross-hatched like indicates speed and movement. Like it's really purposeful.
Yeah. Well, I gotta try this. I know I like the story of Vinland Saga so far from beginning the anime, so I should get into that. But Planets is it's science fiction, and I really like that. So that is what I have read, and I'm in the middle of reading other things. But yeah, I've been crocheting octopuses instead of reading, so
that's okay.
And haven't been listening to audio.
You should.
I haven't been listening to audiobooks either. I have been just replaying every single Sleep Token album like every day. So
yes. Sleep Token has taken over everything.
Yes, it has. So that's it for me. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. So I have been doing a lot of Hugo short fiction reading. So since we so the one thing, so a couple things non-Hugo related first. So I read The Gilded Crown by Marianne Gordon. This is, the cover like gives romantic-y vibes, but it is not romantic-y. It is more like general fantasy, kind of leaning towards dark fantasy, and you're following this young woman named Helvir, who has the ability to like go into death and bring people back, but there's always like a sacrifice involved. So like every time she brings something back, she loses a part of herself. And when she brings back the sole heir to the kingdom, she gets drawn into court politics. And I mostly enjoyed this. Like Helvir can be a little bit of a wet noodle, And it's like, girl, grow a spine. Come on. But I was interested in like kind of the world and her relationship with death and kind of how it ties into the larger mythology of the world. So I have some friends who really love it. I have some friends who did not like it. So it's very much a your mileage may vary book. But I liked it enough where I'll probably check out the sequel at some point. I reread Cold Magic by Kate Elliott. Still love it. I need to reread the rest of the series. I listened to Detective Auntie by Uzma Halaluddin, which you might like this one, Rachel. So this is the first in a cozy mystery series. And we are following this older woman, Kassar, who she was widowed within the last year. And she gets called back to Toronto because her daughter's been accused of murder. And she hasn't been back to Toronto in a number of years. And you find out more as the story progresses, like why she and her husband left Toronto and moved to North Bay. But like, I thought this is a really good start to the cozy mystery, to this series. I really like Kassar. I liked kind of the cast of characters you're getting and seeing the different relationships that she has in the community. And just, it was a very fun mystery, and I'm looking forward to the second book. And I especially think like since the Tita Rosie's series is ending, like this could be a solid replacement.
I need a replacement. So tell me the title again, real quick.
Detective Auntie.
Detective Auntie.
And then the last non-Hugo related thing I read was We Do Not Part by Han Kang. This is it was just translated in English. She won the Nobel Prize in Literature, and this one like wrecked me. I was sobbing by the end of it. So it's following these two women, one of whom, Hyung-ha, is asked by her friend to go to Jeju Island to take care of her friend's bird, and it's this like exploration of historical trauma. What does it mean to survive kind of this genocide? What does it mean to like carry the story forward, like the weight of it on subsequent generations, and like historical, I don't know, it was like very beautiful, very devastating book. Definitely have tissues ready if you read it.
I get the feeling that describes a lot of Hong Kong stuff.
Yeah.
She's the one who
and
wrote
then
Vegetarian, right?
yeah, she wrote The
I
Vegetarian.
think so. Yeah.
And then I read all the Hugo short fiction stuff that I needed to read. So I read The Test of Extinction and What Feasts at Night, and reread The Butcher of the Forest. And yeah, I was thinking about it because like, I think Test of Extinction, even though it like, I think it was too short for everything that the author was trying to put in.
It was very idea heavy. Yeah.
It at least was trying to explore something interesting, which is more than what I could say for What Feasts at Night.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, that's kind of why, like, when I was thinking about why I would rank What Feasts at Night last, is because it was just very much like, it feels to me it got nominated because the Hugos love T. Kingfisher, not because it was a Hugo-worthy novella.
Mm-hmm. And
So,
I mean, this comes from people who really enjoy T. Kingfisher.
Yeah.
So I would agree with that.
yeah. But I also reread Butcher of the Forest because I read it in early March of last year. So it'd been long enough where it's like I needed the refresher to see like where I would rank it. So I do have my rankings for that. I read all the novelettes. Premi Muhammad's was by far the best. I was just kind of whelmed at both Sarah Pinsker's and Naomi Kritzer's novelettes, although I think Kritzer's worked slightly better for me. I think part of the problem is like they're very low speculative. Like Naomi Kritzer's like barely has any. Pinsker's, you only get it at the very end. But it was very much, again, kind of like, I feel like they're here because the Hugos like both of these authors.
Yeah. I would say Kritzer's story is one of my favorites I've ever read by her. Like I think if I
I
had,
liked Kritzer's.
yeah,
I would rank it higher than Sarah Pinsker's novelette, but I think, yeah, it was very much. It was kind of interesting to me seeing like what was there and what was on the ballot. I also read all the short stories, and I did not like the Omelas one. That is my least favorite.
the more I think about it, the less I like that one. I did downgrade my personal rating of it when I did my preliminary voting. I was like, how do I really feel about this some weeks later?
I think
don't.
Yeah, I think for me with the Omelas one, part of why I didn't like it is it just read like the periodic discourse that we get in short story form. And it was like, This is not new. This is not engaging in the story in an interesting way. Like, I think if we're going for like an Omelas reaction story, I think Jemison's was stronger.
Yes. I also feel like Jemison's Omelas riff has basically, because kind of spins the premise on its head. I feel like people, like Omelas is very popular as a point of critique. I feel like because I read at this point like 3 or 4 pieces that have basically like directly referenced or been a subversion or critique of Omelas. And I think that N.K. Jemisin has been, for me at least, the most successful one, because that's actually like brings in a new perspective.
I feel really bad. I know that I've read that story. I cannot remember anything about it. Dang.
So it was, I did not like the Omelas story. I think my favorite was Nevo's. I really liked Nevo's. I also really liked We Will Teach You How to Read. But yeah, I am all done with short fiction. So I need to go read novels, which I am not super enthused about, especially after Robert J. Bennett showed his ass over generative AI.
I'm sorry about that, because I really love The Tainted Cup and I want people to enjoy it, but I mean, here's the thing. That may be a no-go zone for you now.
Like, I would probably read it, but like it will, I honestly don't think I'll even put it, like rank it, because I'm just so, here's the thing. He was saying like, oh, I didn't realize like what we like why this was setting it. And it's like, okay, so that means 2 things. One is you might be lying and you're just trying to cover your ass, or 2, you're so not in community that you didn't notice. And neither of those are great looks. And then he just basically admitted that he's bad at his job, which I'm like, bro, you could not pry that out of me.
What?
Oh, he's basically saying like, oh, like I would need this complicated thing to like do this job, and Gen AI is better. And then I have a friend who does spreadsheets, and it's just like, no, that's like basic Python. Like you can just find it. So yeah.
Wait, like, was this about the Hugo thing?
He was defending using generative AI, like for example, basically for menial work. So his example was that he uses it to write emails that he doesn't really want to put any thought into. So and was basically kind of at the same time doing a diss on like basically people who do corporate writing as a job. Like kind of offhandedly. And I'm like,
there are good corporate writers, and if you make it AI, it's just bad corporate writing.
Yeah. As a person who does corporate writing, it's not so easy to actually write something of substance that gets approved by corporate.
Yeah. So as a technical writer, I feel very strongly about people actually writing the words for instructions that are about people's life and death. I'm like, no, you don't get to just run your documentation through AI because
Well, here's the thing. You as someone who also writes documentation, like you need the reason you write the documentation is because you are ascertaining that your documentation works. So you are double checking that it actually, like, you can't just like vomit it through an AI because like it needs to be substantiated as fact.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's a fact that AI like hallucinates like half of its like results.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get like factually correct stuff unless you are going to be very source critical. And
Yeah.
But like
a majority of people are not source critical when they
yeah.
especially because AI presents itself in a very authoritative, friendly manner. People take it as gospel, basically, that this is how it is. I don't need to verify the sources or ask what sources it has used to get to that point. And then you spread misinformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had because I had so many friends who really liked the Tainted Cup, so I was willing to give him a second try after bouncing off of this, like finding out that he was doing another kill, like Bury Your Gaze in the sequel to The City of Stairs, and like that kind of put me off of him. But I was willing to give him a second chance because so many people liked the Tainted Cup, and then he was just such an asshole, and I'm just like, my time is limited. Like, I will, if I have time, try your book, but at this, like, I'm not going to put it on the ballot. Like, I'm not going to rank it.
I'm going to recommend at this point that you don't read it. I mean, if you're not doing it for
here's the thing, I sometimes like to be an informed-tator, so. But yeah, it was just very disappointing to see. And then, yeah, best novel I'm not super looking forward to. I'm more looking forward to The Lodestar, but it also means I have to back read some series. So I think I'm going to be prioritizing the Scapegracer series by H.A. Clark. And then if I have time, read Iron Widow so I can read Heavenly Tyrant, which I'm not really looking forward to. I've heard Heavenly Tyrant is real bad. Like, from friends I trust, I've heard it's very bad.
That's kind of sad because didn't people really love the first book?
Yeah, and from what I've heard, it's a lot of things that people liked about the first book aren't really in the second book. And I am going to be honest, like how Zhao has been kind of promoting the pegging scene has really put me off of it, like some of the stuff, because it's like it very much feels like they put it in there to kind of titillate or sensationalize, and I'm like, okay, so that's not necessarily, like, a YA book is not necessarily the place to do that. Like, you
also,
can have
guessing
like,
it's not plot integral, like the story is about so many other things. Why are you trying to sell it based on one scene?
Kind of, yeah. So anyway, I'm like not super looking forward to.
I'm also not sure if pegging can be plot relevant in any context. And I'm not opposed to having those scenes in a book, not necessarily a YA book, but like, you know.
Okay, so speaking
but
of
I'm
pegging,
just saying.
Like, the one place where pegging would have been plot relevant is in the second Olivia Dade book, where it's like the one that's like very clearly based off of Game of Thrones. But it's like it's a whole different thing. There's like this, okay, sorry, this is like a rant about the second book in that series. I never read the third book because I was so disappointed. There's like this whole thing where like the male character starts writing fan fiction about his character on the show because he's one of the actors. There's this whole thing about the peg that was promised and his character like writing fan fiction of like his character getting pegged. And I'm like, oh, so like we're gonna be getting pegging in this book. There was no pegging. The one, like, that's a thing where it would have been plot relevant pegging, Rhea.
I mean, you can absolutely make pegging or anything like that relevant in a full-on romance novel with smutty.
yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
But that's the thing, that those books are not full on romance. The romance is like
Yeah.
secondary, like it's like they are like basically like poli-sci science fiction.
Anyway, so that's
for tweens.
Yeah, that's what I have coming up. Or like what I will be reading and what I have been reading.
We are over the hour mark, so we might want to have Kelsey talk about what she's been reading, and then I think we're going to have a lengthy media section at the end. Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't have a ton to talk about because I have been having such a slog with the Hugo reading. It has been going nowhere. I finally finished The West Passage, which I was reading for the
Astounding.
And I liked this, but I didn't like it at the same time. This is supremely weird. And whenever a book is this weird, I always want there to be like, I always feel like I'm asking to what end the weirdness? What is the purpose? And like, in terms of just sheer marveling at the, oh my gosh, what is happening now of it, which I do find some joy in. I kept hoping that I would get to a point where I would be sufficiently deep in it that it would stop feeling so weird because I would be invested in the plot and the characters, and it just never quite happened. This is set, the entire thing is set in a giant crumbling magical palace that is clearly like past its glory days. There are so many ancient empires that have come and gone, and it's ruled by these ladies that are like enormous, weird, magical beings. And we have two young protagonists who start in like the sort of most abandoned portion of the palace, Grey House, and they each individually, separately head out on a quest to like Black Tower, where the ruler is, and encounter all sorts of problems along the way as it gets continually weirder and weirder. And I would, in terms of assessing this as for like a best new writer award, as opposed to, awarding the book itself, I feel like I would be interested in reading more from this author. Clearly, this is a talented writer. I'm not sure how much I would specifically like recommend everyone go run and pick up this book. I will say, I think the author did the chapter heading illustrations, and they are very cool. They are, let me find a good one. They're all done in a sort of like illuminated manuscript style.
Oh, cool.
And I really enjoyed all of that chapter art.
I have to say that whenever like an author or like when they do some like personal touch that is like not necessarily just the writing, I find that like really interesting.
Mm-hmm. So I finished this and gave it 3 stars. And then I also read, as we discussed, What Moves the Dead, which I did not read the year it was nominated for a Hugo because I had told myself, like, flat out, I will read anything T. Kingfisher writes except her horror. I am not reading her horror. And this time I felt like, screw it. I will read them. Maybe that is what it will take to shake me out of this weird reading funk, is some shockingly horrific T. Kingfisher horror. And I did read it very quickly, and it was shockingly horrific, and I had nightmares, and I didn't like that. And
I'm
like,
sorry.
I'm sorry.
and
I'm sorry you had a good bad time.
yeah, I also gave it 3 stars because I
All of
can
that
see why
for
someone
nothing.
would say that What Moves the Dead is like one of her best books. It's very tightly plotted. It's like, it genuinely horrific. And wow, turns out I was right before to say maybe I should skip T. Kingfisher's horror because maybe I should not have read that.
I don't find those novellas to be scary.
Same. I actually
They're
don't find
interesting.
any of T. Kingfisher's horror to be scary.
Her first 2 horror
Except the
novels
Otter
were-
book.
Yeah, that one. But what's the first one called? The one that had like the horse skull tippy tappy thing in it. I still think
Was
about
it the
that.
Twisted Places or the other
Yeah,
one?
I think
The Twisted
well,
one.
there's twisted ones, and then there's the
Like-
I really enjoyed the one with the house. That was kind of terrifying, but
The
not
House
like
with
I
Good
didn't get
Bones?
night. Yeah, the house with good
that's
bones
got the
was really good.
roses in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up in my library right now.
I thought I was going to be able to handle it just fine because I had recently enjoyed some horror adjacent things that had like a good, satisfying bloodbath in them, right? And like, I can get behind a righteous vengeance as, you know, everything comes tumbling down or something. But it, you know, this is just sort of like the creeping horror of something that doesn't think the way we do and doesn't value things the way we value things, this mushroom thing. And, you know, there's no satisfaction in the end, particularly in escaping it or defeating it. I don't know. It was a downer in addition to being deeply psychologically unsettling. And I didn't love that.
What was the psychologically unsettling part, if you can say without spoilers? Like what specific, like or like what's the most like unnerving part of it for you specifically?
Okay, so anything about like dead corpses reanimating is deeply, deeply unsettling to me, especially if there is like an injury like the snapped neck.
Yeah.
That is just like a deep, deep nope for me.
Yeah, I will say that anything that has zombies, and they don't necessarily have to even be super zombie like, but like that's like where my brain goes, like nope. Like anything that comes back to life in a way, like for example Pet Sematary, like that is still one of the most like, despite the racism inherent in that book, and all of Stephen King. But like that is still one of the most unsettling books for me, because like you know how like things that come back to life, but they come back to life wrong. And especially if they come back wrong in a way that is not immediately apparent, but you know that it like there's a wrongness there. That's really horrifying.
I will say the first nightmares I had with What Moves the Dead, though, weren't even like, I started reading it late one night and went to sleep like 1 or 2 chapters in, and had a nightmare about the book that ended up having nothing to do with the actual plot of the book, because I hadn't read the book yet. But it was just based on the atmosphere and the vibes. I don't know. Maybe I was just in the wrong place.
Okay, if you had that experience as you just started reading the book, then when you came back to it, I'm sure that you like associated it already.
Primed to find everything extra disturbing, right?
Yeah.
And then and then I'm partway through Navigational Entanglements, which I am liking more than I was expecting to. And I just started The Ministry of Time, which I think will also be like the right tone of read for me right now, because basically I've been opening up Hugo nominated books and like reading the first pages and just being like, nope, not this, on and off for the past month, and like waiting for anything to hook me. And I think Ministry of Time might do that for me.
I will say, of the Hugo related books, the ones I'm like most intrigued about are Ministry of Time and Someone You Can Build a Nest In, just because those are like the 2 most divisive books among my friends, because I have friends who love Ministry of Time and I have friends who loathe it, and it's the same with Someone You Can Build a Nest In. So I'm like very intrigued by where I'm gonna fall on both of them.
I think I said
Rachel, you kind of liked Ministry of Time, right?
Yeah, I talked about it last live show, and I did like it, and went into way more thoughts last time. I think one of my favorite things about reading is just that it was so readable. It was engaging. I may have quibbles about the type of story, whether it should have been nominated for this particular award or not, but it was very readable. I would read something like that again. I did DNF Someone to Build a Nest In, though. That ended up being a real hard no for me. I didn't like anything about it at all.
That is okay. You are allowed.
I want to like Wiswell stuff, because I think
I did like their short story.
Yeah, I've been on the fence about a couple of them, but I want to like something novel length by Wiswell, and that was just nope. Nope for so many reasons.
Again, like that's why I'm like, I honestly don't know where I'm gonna fall on either novel, and I think like again, because they're so divisive, that's why I'm interested.
Did you have more reads, Kelsey?
No, that's my problem.
Can I?
Yeah, let's
talk media.
Yes.
Do we want to just very quickly for everyone to talk about what they want, so we can make sure Rhea has the time that they want?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't really have anything for media. I'm starting season 2 of Andor, and I'm really enjoying it, and that's pretty much it for me right now. So
I finished season 2 of Andor, and I really liked most of it, and I deeply hate the final shot. Emmett Asher Perrin, I think, on Reactor wrote an essay on that final shot, and I agree with everything there. It like, I know people like the final shot and how it resolved a certain story. I think it is truly some of the laziest writing I have ever seen. I think it shows that while the writers can be very good at certain components of leftism, they completely shit the bed when it came to Women of Color in the second season.
Oh.
No
spoilers. I've only seen the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I also still want to watch it, but I'm waiting to binge it.
I'm not saying what the final shot is.
Okay.
But I deeply hate it. I think the first 2 arcs for this particular character, like the first half of the season, I was really intrigued with what they were doing with this character. But the back half of the season, it was very clear they did not know what to do. And
I think I know who this is. Tell me it isn't her.
Bix.
Oh, okay. So she's not my favorite. Okay, that's not who I thought it was.
Okay. But it is just so frustrating. And again, like, I understand people are like, oh, like it was a good culmination for the character. They found peace. And I'm like, are we like
I have a feeling I know the final shot because that part got spoiled for me, but I don't know the context for it. So
listen, like once folks watch the series finale, like DM me because I have thoughts and they're pretty negative.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed the final season of Andor. But also Tony Gilroy seriously needs to stop talking. It's getting to the point where he's like, oh, I hated Little Mermaid because they had the backlot at Pinewood. I'm like, okay, like I understand you're working on a Star Wars show, but like Little Mermaid was one of Disney's tentpole films for the year. Like they were gonna get the backlot. Like calm your tits.
Little Mermaid, the live action version?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is that even in a conversation?
For a set, and Little Mermaid got priority, and he was mad about it. And it's like, calm your tits. Like,
the last thing I need is a bunch of certain type of culture critics getting more water for their enragement mills regarding that subject. Halle Berry, Haley Bailey has gone through too much already.
I know. But yeah, so finish that. I've been watching Murderbot, which I am enjoying so far. There are certain things that they're doing with one of the characters that I'm like on the fence about, but I'm waiting to like see how it ends up finishing.
Have you watched the 3rd episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm watching that tonight, so we'll see. I'm trying to not make up my mind about whether I like this or not until I've seen a little bit more of it.
Yeah.
Here's what I generally am pessimistic enough about adaptations that I am generally like really, really pleased with how much they seem to be honoring the source material so far in so many ways, even when they're making changes. I think overall, the changes they're making are sort of inserting more points of tension and uncertainty between the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they're doing it to give a bigger story arc from beginning to end of Murderbot coming to really like these people. But it's having the effect in these early episodes of making everyone, including Murderbot, a little bit more unlikable. And
See,
I worry that for casual viewers who don't know where this is going, who haven't read the books, it's going to turn them off in the first few episodes if they don't fall in love with any of the characters right away.
I don't like the immediate impression they went for with the Preservation Crew. I don't like how they introduce those characters. They turn them into like singing hippies who are vibing. Like, no.
Can I say something as someone who has not watched any of the episodes yet.
Go ahead.
I have a kind of mental block of whether I even want to watch the show, because I think and I have been of this mind ever since it was announced that Alexander Skarsgård was gonna be Murderbot, because I'm just like, you're not Murderbot. You're not.
I don't think I would say he's actually doing a pretty good job, especially kind of
I just I
showing
understand
Murderbot's discomfort.
I think that's good. The problem with Skarsgård is that he is so incredibly masculine.
I think that's part of the point of the casting, but I think for me is like, when I was reading, so I haven't read all of the novellas. Or the novel. I have read the first 3. So I should catch up. But anyway, so my thing is that when I was reading it, especially because like Murderbot, this was an interesting kind of social phenomenon to me when I was watching other booktubers talk about the Murderbot books. And whenever it was a guy, they would reference Murderbot with he, him pronouns. Mm-hmm. And whenever it was a woman or like a femme presenting person, they would refer to Murderbot with either the it pronouns or like they, them pronouns, sometimes with she, her pronouns even. So I'm in that social phenomenon thing that because it's like Martha Wells has been very purposeful about the androgyny and the the lack of any type of gender for Murderbot. And it kind of makes people interpret Murderbot's gender or lack thereof with whatever they kind of, what their proximity gender is kind of. And I feel like with the casting of Alexander Skarsgård in the role, it leans into the kind of SFF bro interpretation of the character, and I'm very uncomfortable with it.
How people interpret Murderbot says a lot about their own mindset or what they associate with that kind of character, with Murderbot's actions and job role and everything. So in that way, I feel like the casting of Skarsgård is more somebody else's, tells me more about the person doing the casting. And I find that very frustrating. I don't need a story about people trying to overcome a very masculine presenting person and thinking of them as it or non-binary or whatever. I want a very non-binary character.
I feel like
I will say it feels weird to me that people are being like, oh, Skarsgård's too masked, because I think it takes away from the fact that there are going to be very mask NB people. So that's kind of my whole thing with oh, he's too masked. It's
which I completely understand that, but I think it's been established that Murderbot physically really is quite non-binary. It is an
it. So non-binary is does not mean androgyny. I'm one of the first, I'm also non-binary and gender fluid, and I present most of the time pretty femme. So and it's the similar thing, if you're more masked, you can still be androgyny is not requirement. However, when we're I'm more of a I just feel like I necessarily did not want Murderbot to be a person or be associated to a person. I would actually, an interesting type of casting would be if they completely, if they didn't have a face, they would take off the helmet and it would just be something not human. And it's similarly to how similarly to how Hades dealt with chaos. Chaos has there is a male voice actor who does Chaos's voice.
But I think
However,
that takes away from like what we see in the books where like Murderbot removes its helmet and everyone is like, oh, there is like an actual human face. Like that is a core part of All Systems Red is up until when Murderbot rescues Valescu, or was it's Barawaj and
Valescu.
Like
the book.
It's never taken off its helmet around them. So Prezox doesn't know that it actually has a human face. Like that's a huge plot point into
and
both
it's
how
I get it, but I'm
more the books that Murderbot isn't good at controlling its facial expressions, and everyone else can read its facial expressions very, very clearly.
I feel like it's not necessarily that like what I mean about humanness is more like an uncanny valley type of thing, because this is but
Murderbot also has to be
coming from a factory line essentially.
Pass for a normal augmented human many times.
Yeah.
Throughout the series, I think it's extremely plot relevant in many ways that Murderbot has a human face. And I don't mind the casting. When it was announced, I was frustrated from the standpoint of wouldn't this have been a great opportunity for a non-binary actor?
Or somebody who's very androgynous. Yeah, that.
I mean, here's the thing. If they wanted to go with like a very mask-presenting person, did it have to be Skarsgård? I'm specifically like, because there are mask-presenting non-binary actors also.
I think.
I don't know. I'm just like generally speaking.
I will just say like from a production standpoint, I don't think the show would get made without having someone like Skarsgård in the lead.
Right.
I mean, sure.
I do want to point out that they did hire a non-binary actor for Pin Lee, and that made me really happy to see that they do have gender diversity in the cast. Like
that is good.
Change Pin Lee to being non-binary in the show.
I mean, that is good. Did it have to be Scar? I just have been.
I'm going to confess that I was someone who on my first read of the novellas had a very masculine looking mental image of Murderbot, and that has faded for me on rereads as, it's become more and more clear that that's not at all in evidence in the text. But his casting isn't visually jarring to me. But I don't know that anyone's casting would be visually jarring to me as Murderbot. There is no description of Murderbot's physical appearance in the text aside from very short hair that gets a smidge longer and
art modifying its code to like have some body hair.
Shorter also. It gets shorter, but people seem to think that it's obvious that Murderbot is supposed to be really tall because obviously sec units would be very tall, and that's not in the text either.
For me, it's like I did not picture like I understand that it takes off its helmet and stuff, so there must be a face there. That was in the text, but for myself, I did not picture anything. Like when I was reading the text, Murderbot is a complete blank canvas to me. Like,
that's interesting.
Whereas with any other character, I could picture them clear. Like I had a certain kind of, even with vague description, like I have a certain kind of image of what this character is about and what they're like, how they present somewhat. But with Murderbot, I've always been like, that's a nothing. Not nothing, but it's like there is a vagueness like very intentional vagueness that kind of that like I'm in my opinion, like Alexander Skarsgård is not a generic looking guy. He has very distinct features, and I think that's the problem. Like, he is not a factory line generic guy who you can just plop on a factory line of other factory lines. Well, actually, never mind, considering Skarsgårds have like a legion of Skarsgårds that look relatively similar to each other.
I think we all know, though, Alexander Skarsgård is the hot one, though.
No, that's Bill Skarsgård. Like,
no, he's generic.
No,
I want to pull up Chris's comment because I was thinking the same thing. Skarsgård in True Blood. Yes, this is what I know Alexander Skarsgård for. His casting as Eric Northman in True Blood. At the time that I was reading the Sookie Stackhouse books, and I was obsessed with my mental image of what Eric would end up looking like, and they cast him as that, and he was perfect. So, I mean,
I'm just realizing that I've maybe never seen Alexander Skarsgård in anything before, and this is my very first impression of him, and that might be why I'm very open to it.
I mean,
let me say True Blood was, here's a very tall, blonde, ex-Viking hot vampire, and there's sex scenes. Like, yeah.
I mean, got into True Blood. I read most of the books, but then I heard about like what happened at in the final book, and I was like, maybe not.
I read the final book and wish that I hadn't. That's where I'll leave it.
I mean, Alexander Skarsgård is a Swedish actor, so as a Finnish person, I'm fairly like familiar with all of the Skarsgård's filmography. So.
Okay, we have talked a lot about Murderbot, and we got about 20 minutes left in our usual time.
Well, that was all the media I had was the first 3 episodes of Murderbot, so you can skip me.
Shall we unleash Rhea?
Okay.
Come on.
So I'm putting my mending down because I need to focus. So I have been obsessed with Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is a new video game that was published earlier this year, like a couple of months ago. And it is made by a team of 30 developers that left Ubisoft. And they have made this really expansive turn-based, basically JRPG-inspired role-playing game, or like an action RPG. And it is so aggressively French and so good. Like the story is so sad. The idea is like that every year there is this entity called the Paintress that paints a number, and and then the number that gets painted, all the people who are aged that number or older die. And the Paintress first painted the number 100, and by the time of by the time the game starts, we are at number 33. And each year they send out an expedition to the old continent to try and find the Paintress and to try and defeat her so that she won't paint another number. And essentially, this is the whole society by this point has built itself around the fact that all of the people are gonna die. Like more and more people are gonna be dying, and that like there is a fostering system for the children that get left behind by the people who disappear or who go through the gamage of like disappearing. And it's so sad, and it's about basically resistance. And every single like there are people in the story that kind of think that the whole point of the expeditions is pointless, that they should not send in the expedition of like their most like able-bodied skilled people to go to the continent. They should stay in Lumiere and like build the society there. Rather than go on the expedition. But then the whole point of the story is kind of like we do it for those who come after. So even if the expedition is not successful, we are building resistance for those who come after us. And it's so good. And like there's like, because it's so fantastical in the way that like basically like there is no real world kind of equivalent for this, because the whole premise is so fantastical. But when you're playing it and it is about that resistance, you can't help but kind of feel the parallels, especially with like things that are like going on right now in many parts of the world. And it just feels somehow so sad and so hopeful. Like it's like such a good game. Like I will say that every single time I have started to play it, I have this feeling of foreboding where I need to hype myself up to start playing it again, because I know that it's gonna be sad. So I feel like I'm always gonna be in a kind of sad mindset. It's on PC, and I think it's also on PS5 and Xbox. It should be on most of the main consoles. It is not on Switch. I'm playing it on PC. I will say, I am playing the story mode. I tried the expeditioner mode and I got my ass handed to me immediately, because the idea is in the turn-based combat is that you need to parry and dodge to gain action points for your next rounds, and also so that the enemies don't pummel you to death in a single hit. And if you don't get the timing of the parry or dodge perfectly, they will pummel you to death in a single hit. So I pretty quickly went to story mode where I'm still getting pummeled to death, but on a less frequent basis. But the good thing is that you can basically change the difficulty setting at any point in the game without having a new save file. So you can just like turn it on normal mode when you feel skilled enough to try it. But it's so good. And the Andy Serkis is part of the cast, the voice cast in the game. And also Ben Starr, who did the voice of Clive for Final Fantasy 16, I want to say, and also is the voice of Prometheus in Hades 2, is also in the game. And also the voice actress for Shadowheart plays one of the main characters in Clair Obscur. So it is so good. And I will say that the turn-based combat is actually like really nice, because it feels like you don't have to wait for your turn, because even on the enemy turn you have something to do, because you need to dodge or parry accordingly. So it kind of has that rhythm element in it. And then you are not penalized for thinking through so there is no like penalty for time when you are choosing what your character should do on their turn. And every single character has a very unique mechanic on how they play. I personally enjoy Loon most, because she's like kind of the black mage type character in the game. So yeah, I'm really enjoying Clair Obscur. I'm really happy. The other game that I want to play is South of Midnight, which is basically a fantasy adventure game based in, I think, the Jim Crow South, and has a black protagonist. And I think it's also, the game has been made by like a majority black team. So that's a game that I'm looking forward to playing after I finish Clair Obscur. And other than that, I have just been watching anime.
You know what you didn't get from you, Rhea, this time? The Webtoon update.
That's because I have not been really reading any webtoons, because like the pizza delivery guy went on a hiatus after I finished the season, and after that I'm like, I can't read the shitty webtoons unless I have a good webtoon to sandwich in between.
Look who's here.
Leia!
So cute.
She's very cute. She's
She
very
is very cute.
She's doing her summer blowout. Gotta get rid of that winter coat.
Nice.
I assume it's all over your clothes then.
Yeah, well, I brush her a lot because she actually really likes being brushed.
Ah.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
So
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that
how I
was
keep the
it
fur
for-
off my clothes. Is she very much likes being brushed and gets mad when I brush her brother and not her.
Hermes also really loves brushing. Like, he's constantly, like, if I take the brush out, he will just climb on top of me to get brushed.
Can you summon him with the brush?
I'm not sure. I could try.
I can
I need
summon
to
him.
get.
Probably know it was a trick.
I need to get the brush. I could I might be able to summon him with another thing. Actually, I'm gonna do something. Hello, boy.
Hi, princess. I know, you're so cute. You're so pretty.
I did something unacceptable.
Oh, no. Now I feel like it was a trap all along.
Yes, I will let you out. Don't worry. Don't worry. No, he was like, he's so offended. I'm not taking you anywhere. But he was just laying there. I could just go on and close the door, and he didn't do anything. You should do this more often. This is how we should do when we go to my mom's. Much less hassle. Oh, he's so offended though.
Oh, Miss Leia.
Like, I can't believe you did this to me. He was already in the jail. I just closed the door.
He's good. You're gonna give him trust issues, Rhea.
It was the one time.
Do you have trust? No. Alright.
I mean, yes. All the we always have a running tally of which pets are making an appearance in the live.
Yeah.
I think we've had everybody except for Ava.
Yeah.
She was in here, but she ran away when I got the octopus. So.
Yay. Okay, we're done with
All
the
right. We have any other final thoughts on media before we wrap up?
I did go and see Sinners for the second time.
Oh, I
Good
saw
for
Sinners.
you.
It's good. It was really good.
It was
It's like the first movie I've seen in a theater in over a year.
It's so good. It's so good. And I also so Studio Ghibli is celebrating the 40th anniversary next month. So there was this Studio Ghibli Day, so they were showing a bunch of their classics on the big screen. So I went to see Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke on the big screen, and it was so nice. It was so nice. It like Spirited Away was the first Ghibli movie I ever saw in theaters, and that was a long, long time ago.
Yeah. Don't eat my yarn, Leia.
Eating yarn is bad for kitties.
It is.
Oh, did you? So speaking of Ghibli, did you see that they did like a special screening of Princess Mononoke in IMAX for Michael?
Yes, Michael B. Jordan was like disappointed that he couldn't make it, and then they organized a private IMAX screening for him for Princess Mononoke, and I'm like, I want some of that treatment. Wish I was a rich celebrity.
He's such a weeb. I love him.
Yes. I love the new generation of celebrities who are unapologetic weebs, like Megan Thee Stallion and
Yeah,
Michael
she's
B.
another
Jordan.
good one.
Yeah. I have almost mended all of this, but this one I'll leave for tomorrow. 3 out of 4. Very good job.
Good on you for mending things.
I've just like totally flagged and stopped sewing.
And sometimes that's okay too.
I will never finish this at this rate.
You'll chip away at it. One live show at a time. All right. Do we want to end with things we're looking forward to? I did not prepare. I have no thoughts.
I am looking for. I have like 3 books I'm looking forward to that I've pre-ordered that are coming out on June 10th. New Kate Elliott's coming out. The new Malka Older's coming out.
Ooh.
And then I am completely blanking on the other thing I pre-ordered that's coming out on June 10th. Let me look at Powell's and see what they have.
Marina and Sergei Dyachenko are coming out with the 3rd book in the Vita Nostra
How did
series
I forget
next
that?
month.
I was just looking at it before.
Yeah, you showed it to me, and
I
was
know!
like, that was not even on my radar.
Oh, The Flight of the Fallen by Hannah Lee. It's the sequel to Road to Ruin, which was like a lot of fun, and I'm very looking forward to the conclusion of the duology. And then Rachel Hartman has a new book coming out in late July. That's
I pre-ordered that one.
YA set in the Serafina universe.
The sequel to Whiskey, the Whiskey Business is coming out next month, I think. So.
I thought that was a fall release.
No, should be summer release. Unless they change the date.
I hope you're right.
Last time I checked, it was June, but I don't remember what time in June.
Yeah.
I haven't been reading my pre-orders as they come out this year because it didn't work for me last year, so I'm reassessing my priorities.
It comes out in like 10 days.
Yes. I'm planning on doing it as my holiday read when when I'm out and about traveling. But yeah, that's what I'm really looking forward to. Oh, I completely forgot to mention the Rose of Versailles movie. I'm not gonna mention it except very briefly. That was a very pretty well budgeted bunch of nothing. Like, I can't believe they crammed 10 volumes and 42 episodes worth of content into 1 hour and 40 minutes, and for some weird reason decided to make it a musical. And the songs were so bad. I mean, here's the thing. I think you should watch it. It looks pretty.
But would I just be better off watching the original anime?
Yes. Yes. You most certainly would. You most certainly would be better off watching the older adaptation.
I knew it was short, like absurdly short for the length of the story, but
it's a speed run of the whole French Revolution. I was like, at one point, Marie Antoinette is having the canoodling with Fersen, and I'm like, wait, what? And then the next moment we see her, she's like running with a bunch of her kids, and I'm like, when did the kids happen? What? Whose kids?
I just want to interject that I have double checked. I'm correct on this. June is when we're getting the next Morrigan Crow book, finally.
Oh, finally.
God,
like, it's been years.
It has been.
It has been.
It has been forever.
That's good news. Okay, it has a cover. It has a release date.
It has a cover. It has a release date. Yeah.
Do we know if people?
Oh, I should definitely buy it.
Do we
Like,
know?
I have all the others.
I still didn't hear what you were saying because people were talking at the same time. You asked a question?
Me?
Yes, Rachel.
I said, are there ARCs? Advanced
Are
reader
there
copies.
ARCs?
If it's coming out that soon, I would expect to be seeing like reviews and stuff soon.
Oh my God,
I'm gonna read it.
So, speaking of ARCs, I have like one very like cursed thing to share. I'm so sorry. So you know that Manacled is getting its Crowd Pup release. That one of the two Hermione is Draco sex slave book fanfics, which 2 is too many. Anyway, so it's getting its Trad Pup released as Alchemized, and Sunlin Yu shared like the first part of the new version. So in the original, Hermione is doing burpees to stay fit while under. Yeah.
What?
What? I'm sorry. Hermione doing burpees?
What?
The bookworm who would rather be in a library?
What? Out of all the exercises.
Anyway, so that's how
out of all of the exercises.
So that's
burpees?
How the fic starts. And in the bit that Sunlin Yu shared, the Hermione character is no longer doing burpees, but she's in stasis, and there's electrical shocks to keep her muscles from atrophying.
What is this? 90s TV shop? Like,
I'm sorry, I saw this. It's like one of those things where it's like you see something so cursed and you have to share it with others.
Is it a sci-fi or fantasy?
It's fantasy,
like setting?
As far as I know.
Why does she need to be in stasis?
She's a prisoner.
We will never know because none of us are going to read this. Well, except for.
Is it so relevant that her fitness has to be a plot point? Like what?
Well, if she's going to be a sex slave, yes.
You would think she would do Kegels instead, then.
Terrible. I would like to scrub this information from my brain.
I had to see it. So
I'm sorry.
With all of you.
But that's like, can we not like? Far be it from me. I'm of the mind, never yuck anyone's yum. But at the same time, especially considering that the original, well, the original material.
I am full for yucking people's yum on this because, like, I'm gonna be honest, wanting a sexy slave fanfic based on a children's series is fucking weird.
I also have there's a difference, I think, between writing fan fiction about something and then getting it trad pop, like especially like considering it is based on a source material. And in the source material, this is a character that most people associate with a child.
Mm-hmm.
Because the character, she was a child. And I'm sure the context for this is that she's an adult, but in terms of like the basis of did we lose Kelsey or no?
I think we did.
But basically the whole like base of people's knowledge of this character is associated with the fact that she was a child. And my mind can't really take the leap of that base, you know? I just couldn't you just write an original character? And not just file off the serial numbers. I just
Yeah, anyway, it's like I said, it's deeply cursed. I had to share it with all of you, so I'm like not alone.
Thank you. Especially considering it's like almost my bedtime, so I will be thinking about that when I go to sleep. So thank you.
We got to end on some different information than just that.
Yes, please.
Somebody come up with something.
Somebody save me.
I don't know if anyone watched the Librarian series that was on TNT, but there's going to be a new Librarian show that's airing on TNT that looks delightful and fun and campy. And like, I'm very looking forward to watching it because I did love the original Librarian show. I don't think Noah Wyle is back for it, which
he's busy with The Pit and Leverage. So
yeah. But it would be fun if he like just showed up and it's like, oh hey.
I wish to bring you the news that it does look like people have been reviewing Silverborn, so some people have access to it.
It really exists.
It really exists. Good. Dai, that is very lovely information, but that is not enough to counter the cursed information that you shared. I need something equally cursed, but like funny cursed, to like wash out this.
So it's not funny cursed, but apparently the live action Lilo and Stitch like completely butchered everything. And it's making
it already butchered everything because Pleakley is not in drag.
I know.
Or questioning his gender identity.
Wait, what is that?
And also they massacred my boy.
Information that like was like, I'm not watching it. Like if Pleakley's not in drag, like what's the point? But no, they got rid of Gantu, so he's not the villain.
Yes.
They made
Jumba
the villain, so we don't even have like whatever Jumba and Pleakley have going on.
Also,
Nani
when you get rid of Gantu
to CPS.
What are we talking about? What is this?
Live action Stitch. Live action Lilo and Stitch.
It looks
to
bad.
be fair,
don't watch it.
Yeah, no, we're not. No.
I did not know that this existed. Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. Disney wants money. Disney does these live action cash grabs because they need to hold on to their IP. And like you will notice that they make these cash grabs very close to the anniversary an anniversary event, or when their copyright for the original version starts to get too close to home for going into public domain, then they bring back a new version or slightly altered version.
Anyway, I like saw the spoil because I already, like I said, I saw the Pleakley news and I was like, okay, this movie's dead to me. But then also the animation just looked really bad, or like the CGI just looked bad. And then I saw the spoilers for like Nani giving Lilo to CPS. And then it's like framed as heartwarming because Nani can go to college, but of course there's no colleges on Hawaii, so she goes to the mainland. But it's okay because she has a portal gun, so she can like come back and forth. And I'm just like, then what's the point?
What the? It's like colonialism 1. The whole point of Lilo and Stitch is like the context of Nani being an indigenous Hawaiian, and none of the people who are working for the system are not indigenous Hawaiian. That is specifically the point.
Yeah, so I saw the spoilers. I am very mad. It's making a shit ton of money, so Disney is going to, of course, make sequels because we live in the worst timeline, and they better not fuck up my the Stitch merch because I don't want anything with that cursed CGI Stitch. Like,
it was
perfect. It was a perfect movie, and they ruined it.
Lilo and Stitch is one of my favorite Disney movies. I have the Blu-ray of it, which is especially right now. You should consider investing in physical media collections because movies are starting to be altered or not or taken off streaming platforms entirely. So start building.
Lilo and Stitch on Blu-ray, but I have the DVD that I got 2 decades ago. So
so. Now is a good time to start building a physical media library because we live in the worst timeline.
Yeah.
I guess it's my excuse to buy some DVD copies of my favorite movies. So.
Anyway,
I just bought Nosferatu.
Does that count as like equally cursed, Rhea?
Let's see. I'm not thinking about the other thing right now, but
Okay,
who knows if it will pop up when I close my eyes.
I do have some cursed information about the other sex slave book, but I'll save that for tomorrow in the group chat.
Okay, I think we should wrap up now.
What is friendship if not sharing curse knowledge?
That is true. That is true.
All right. That's been our show. Who's tuning on next time?
Me, I think, because I'm after Rachel.
I'm so glad you guys remember this. So next month we will be on Rhea's channel. We will let you know when the date will be, when we ourselves know what the date will be. And yeah, thank you for joining us this month. I hope you were entertained even by the cursed information. And we're going to go away now. So bye.